Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Chasers of Race YouTube channel, where we are joined by a very special guest who has undoubtedly the fastest 135s, yes, it's a plural, 135s in South Africa. I would like to welcome OzH to the channel. Welcome to the channel, man.
What's up, guys?
Got it.
Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she slide and tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole, I'm beating it down. I'm back in that bag again. Whoa, whoa. Oh, say less. I'm back in that bag again. Yeah, yeah. Oh, say less. I'm back in that. Yeah. What you doing? Yeah, yeah. I'm back in that. Hey, where you going? Hey, back in that bag again to bring me around.
I think with most people, I'm sure they'll be very interested in where did this all start? Where did your love and passion for cars start for you?
Yes, now you're taking me back in time, bro.
Let's take it back.
Okay, so basically, I would say from primary school. So about grade 5, grade 6. My dad got a E46 330 Ci convertible, and I used to hear how this car sounds, and I just like loved this car. Like to me, like I was young at that time, I didn't understand what was love, passion, and whatever, but I felt a very warm feeling towards this car, like the way it sounded, the way it looked, the way it smelled inside, and for me, that kind of made me happy. And that's where the passion and love for cars started. Don't get me wrong, there's no one like, my family doesn't like, no one's car orientated, if you know what I mean. There's no one with mechanical background, no one that actually raced. So like, it was very hard for me growing up and learning about cars, as I never have like guidance towards it, if you know what I mean. So it was mostly like research development. I used to Google a lot. Right? I used to find people that were car people, like, and I used to try and get close with them because obviously I wasn't exposed to cars. I mean, my dad had that one car, and growing up, my dad always had nice BMWs, but I was too small to understand
The
that
technical
this is
side.
a nice, the technical part, and also that this is a nice BM in that. And the one that actually caught my eye was the E46 330 Ci specifically because I was obviously getting older. So I was starting to understand that, this is a nice car. And then I understood box BM, like now, like I want to kick myself because my dad had box BMs back then. But I was too young to understand what a box BM was.
Right.
So yeah, that's where my loves and like started for cars. From that specific car.
But wasn't your dad like into, because if he had BMs then he must have known that hey, there's something there.
He was into cars, but like Ozayr said, that the technical part wasn't too like, how you say, they weren't too clued up with the technical
So he
part.
just liked it for the
So my dad knew the basic things: check oil, check water. If something's wrong,
Take it
call
to
Uncle
BM.
Manny, the mechanic. Uncle Manny used to work for BM at that time. He was one of the head technicians. So obviously private jobs, you know. Used to work on my dad's cars. But my dad, the most he modified his car to was put an exhaust.
Oh, that's the most.
He had it on all his cars, an exhaust. Not even a rum, a drop, nothing. Just an exhaust. So like, you obviously grow up the way your parents grow you up. And that's the way I was being grown up. Then obviously later on in life, I got more exposed to people who actually do this for a living, like tuners. Like the first tuner I met was Judd, guy from Syndicate Racing. Quite an inspirational guy there. And then later on, met all the guys.
Nice.
And now, your first driving experience?
Okay, so I'm the last born. Let's start there. Very spoiled. I came very late in my parents' life, hence last born. So my dad, in general, has been through life with my other brothers, other siblings. So with me, it was very easy. He literally told me, here's the keys, go
Drive.
figure it out. And he gave me his BM, eh? I learned how to drive on that,
Yo,
on that
the
330
trust.
Ci.
Yo.
And I took the car, went around the block. I was still a bit nervous, then I got the hang of it. And then...
Was it automatic or manual?
So 330 Ci, there was few that came in SMG,
Which is automatic.
which is it's basically a manual gearbox with no clutch.
Oh, okay.
So only a few models came in the CIs. They came only in auto and manual, but few models came in SMGs. So SMGs came out on E46 M3. You got an option between a manual and an SMG. So yeah, so SMG basically had a clutch inside the box that was automatic. So yeah, I learned on that car. So it was basically an auto car that had a clutch. So you could spin it. I used to go, that was the first thing I did. I went to an open parking lot, I locked the steering to the right and I put my foot flat. And then that feeling was, and I kid you not, this was on my first drive driving the car.
No ways.
First drive driving the car. I was already getting wings because I was asking my dad, can I go for a drive? Can I go for a drive? Can I go for a drive? Oh, there was one of my cousin's husbands who was into cars. And he had like nice cars. So every time I used to go for a drive with him, he used to spin the car. Just to get excited. So I said, okay, one day when I learn how to drive, I'm gonna try it.
The spin it.
So I paid attention there. He spun an E36 M3, had a Estoril blue German spec 2-door. So, and he had a 97 model. That was the ones that came out with traction control. There was few models that didn't come out and few models that came. So I checked, he pressed the ASC button. I will never forget that button. Anti-skid. And he threw the car and he told me, you have to press this button before you spin. So obviously the E46 was a bit of a later model.
Yeah.
And that one also had the ASC button. So first thing I did was I held that button down and I said, okay, let's try this.
Thing.
And it's fun, but like, look, in my eyes, I felt like a legend, but probably from the outside, there was just one wheel spinning because it's an open duct. It's not an M car.
Yeah.
But it was doing something.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was one way downhill, I'll say, or uphill. My dad couldn't figure out why the tires used to get finished so quick.
Insane.
Yeah, that's where it started, bro.
So I would also like to know as well, one of your first car purchases and one where you really got in touch with the driving dynamics of a car, understanding the oversteer.
ergonomics.
Yeah, basically that.
My first car I owned was a E90 330i. So I actually jumped into that time. Back then, I'm talking like 2014. So it's obviously I had my first job. Obviously, I applied to become a mechanic. So obviously, you're living with your mom and dad. Expenses are not high. You can buy a decent car. So at that time, I wanted a manual. I wanted a 335, but it was out of my budget. So I bought the 330i E90, and from there I started, like, obviously, because now I was in the field, in the game, I was learning a lot about cars. Then obviously inside the dealerships, there's qualified personnel there that, you know, they nurture you, teach you, they coax you. So there's one, you'll always find that 1-2 adrenaline junkies in the shop. He'll come with his boosted car that was aspirated to work. And you know, like, you make sure he's known, he's there, you hear him come, watch! You know, like, you hear the dump of a car.
Like that.
So those guys, but they teach you, they're like, okay, did you do an exhaust on your car? I was like, mistake, remove the catalytic converter. I'm like, they're like, yeah. I said, we don't want to make it heavy on fuel. They're like, yeah. They're like, yeah, but it will sound nice and better performance and whatever. So I went, started off, removed it. And I heard my car is like sharp, you know. Then I got into touch with a lot of people, like, with tuning and everything. And I started racing the car. Then the car for that time was very strong. I mean, I think they came out at 190 wheel kilowatts. So obviously I increased the power, but I got in touch with a local tuner. They did a file for me. Then I dynoed it, and it only made like 170 wheel kilowatts. So I couldn't understand how is it making 170 wheel kilowatts when it comes out with 190 kilowatts. Then I read up 190 kilowatts on the fly. So it's like, okay, so it is making its full power, but 30 kilowatts loss or 20 kilowatts loss in drivetrain. Because obviously it has to transfer through the prop, engine, gearbox, prop, and then differential. Then I drove the car like that for a very long time, did an intake, and I started racing the cars to go apex. Then rock was there also, I used to go rock. So the car was very responsive because obviously no boost, just a whole lot of timing, aspirated. And those cars came out with VVT, variable valve timing. That's why they were so fast, and they had vanos. Vanos is a thing BMW has for a very long time. It's to do with oil pressure. Feeds more oil pressure to the timing chain and Vanos gears, and obviously makes the car go fast. It came out from E36. So yeah, that car was quite nappy. But then I wanted more.
Oh, yes.
Never ends.
Right? I'll tell you why I wanted more. I started racing boosted cars. So I was finding a hard time keeping up and they were eating me also. So I said, okay, let me go figure out another way. Like that time obviously funds weren't so good. Like you're obviously coming, you're working your way up. So I went and read up of nitrous. And I was like, okay.
Not even turbo.
Not even turbo, nitrous. No, because I used to watch this, the Street Outlaws in it, and they always used to say nitrous oxide, nitrous oxide. Also, Fast and the Furious, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60 seconds as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I said, okay, let me see what nitrous all about. And I was like, okay, I did some research. My first nitrous kit I bought was a Zax kit, progressive kit. Wired it up to the car, pressed the button, flew in the seat, and I was like, yes, what's going on here? And then it's like, it feels like boost. And I was like, yo, no, this is solid. But then one of my buddies said, did you decrease your timing on your car? You're gonna break your engine. So I was like, what's timing? Then he's like, no, you need to retard your timing 2 degrees back so your car doesn't break. I couldn't understand. Why must I retard the timing and it? Did more research, learned of nitrous oxide. It actually adds the oxygen molecule to your combustion chamber. So when you add the oxygen molecule, you're adding more air. So obviously you need fuel to compensate with it. So that's why I bought a wet shot. So now the products of internal combustion is H2O and CO2. So obviously it's taking the oxygen molecule and it's adding it to the product of internal combustion. When you run more air, you go faster with your car, but it's more dangerous because you're running lean. So when you run lean, you detonate. When you detonate, you blow your motor. So I was asking them, why do you have to pull the timing back in it? So they're like, no, you have to pull the timing back so you save your engine from blowing up, and also adding fuel to it will make it will be safer, and your AFR air fuel ratio will be within spec. So I was like, now AFR, these guys are speaking to me all
technical terms.
So I'm just thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
But I was learning
as you go.
My thing is, I didn't leave anything. Like I didn't leave anything just like that there. I did research on it, asked questions. Remember, I knew nothing of cars, like zero. So that's how I learned, and that's where it started off, like that car specifically. And then from there, it was only going up.
BMs only. Interesting.
BMWs only.
So, you can...
I'm loyal to the brand.
So, also, one interesting question I'm pretty sure the audience would also like to know is, how did this come about? What led you to start your own automotive shop? And obviously being involved in the research and development of the BMW combustion engines, the turbos, the pros and cons of doing certain mods, and all sorts of things like that.
Too much questions. Okay, let's start off with, how did this come about?
For sure.
So obviously in your life you have a goal, right? Right now where we're sitting, this was my goal a few years back. This was my childhood dream, whatever you guys seeing here. I hated working for a boss, but obviously you need to crawl before you walk. So I sucked it up. I stole as much knowledge as I could, but I knew the end goal. I knew where I wanted to be. Look where I am now, I'm very content, bruh. If God wants to give me more, He'll give me more, but I'm content where I am right now. I think I've achieved a decent amount in my life, and also I feel I'm right where I am now. Okay, next question. That was your one question.
The one question.
You want to hear the story about how we actually started the shop?
You want to hear that?
Yeah.
Hey, Karam, see you making me It's a bit of a sad one. And also, I don't want to name and shame the brand also. I actually lost my job. I started working in my backyard, my dad's backyard. And obviously I was qualified before I left my job. So I had my trade certificate, qualified mechanic. You know, like did all the levels, everything. I studied in courses, whatever. You know what? All this, how we in our terms, supporting mods for your car. So I had all the supporting mods, right? I just needed to build a motor. So yeah, I started at the back of I started in my dad's backyard, doing 1-2 cars. And obviously, you know what, there's something I can praise about the Indian community. Is that word of mouth goes around. When you do something good, they support you. So I had endless support from my people. And I did the job right at a reasonable price because, like, you don't have no overheads or anything, and that's obviously how you build your name, you know? So I was affordable. Don't get me wrong, I'm still affordable, but like I'm now a bit more fair because obviously, you know, like different circumstances. Also, you become a bit more professional when you have. Look, I tried being professional. It's still my dad's backyard, you know. And from 1 car, it went to 2 cars. From 2 cars, went to 3 cars, 4 cars. Eventually, on a weekend, I had about 13 cars in my dad's backyard.
Jeez.
And last number cars, bro, like M3s, M4s, 335s, 135s.
Jeez.
You know? So like it was starting to get a bit much. So my dad sat me down, spoke to me, he's like, son, don't you want to like expand? You want to expand? Look, his actual words was, you fucking my yard up. That's what his actual words, no filter. But I thought about it and I told him, I said, I want to do it. But I don't have enough capital as yet. So can I build enough capital and see how I'm going to make this happen? So I worked another 1 year, 1.5 years, but like with proper discipline and stuff. I needed to just get enough capital to start up something. So I worked towards it, got enough capital. Well, actually a shitload of capital. Like I limited myself and then I opened up the shop straight. Whatever capital I had came in here.
Came into the shop.
Blank shop. Started from scratch.
Yeah. Got all the lifts, got all the tools, everything like that.
Everything one go. One go. So I had the goal. I said, I'm not going to open up a small shop or whatever. So I opened one big workshop properly because obviously I had the clientele. I had the community behind me. I had my parents. Look, finance-wise, no one. I'm my own finance. That's one good thing about me. Financial backing's all me. But yeah, that's how the shop came about.
Yeah.
And then from here, it was only to the top.
Yeah, it's very impressive and also quite inspiring as well. Which leads me over onto the recent rise, obviously in prominence in the 135. And I'm pretty sure quite a few people would like to know what exactly has been done and the amount of time that it took to get to the sort of level with the 135.
Look, I always owned the 135 in 54 specifically. The platform's quite
problematic.
They got shit fueling these cars, sorry, but yeah, there's no other way to put it. Everyone gives up on it. There's a lot of R&D on them because overseas, you know, they're 10 years ahead of us. US and it were very far with this car. And obviously later BMs came out, N55, E58s. Like, it wasn't... N55 came out 2012, I think. 2011, round about there. Then people already moved on to N55 because it was less problematic than this. It made power for, like, for nonsense. Well, at that time, 250 kilowatts, 300 kilowatts was big power. N54s made the power, but they couldn't, like, stay at that level. They couldn't maintain always boost leak gear, 30FF code, 2AAF, fuel pump plausibility. So people moved away from the platform very quick. I kept it because it's all I had at that point. Remember, I still had my N54 from back then. Right? After my 330, I had a 130 short-lived and then I bought a 135. Specifically, the one that's currently the fastest in SA, that one. So whatever I had in work, whatever I learned, whatever I had at that time, the resources and that, I put in that car. And it was quite fast on the street. But I never ever ran it at the track. So I met a guy, Pierre. I know you all know heard of Pierre, BYM Fabrication. Pierre taught me a lot also. Taught me how to go fast. He always pushed me. He obviously did my big turbo build on my car. Both my cars. Now I have two 135s. I do have more cars, but like specifically talking of these cars, and both of them are the fastest in SA. The black one's the fastest, the second fastest is my grey one. They both got single turbo setups. One is a DCT, and the other one's manual. So the fastest one is a manual. So I did research on fueling and that, and I did research on all the components that fail. And obviously upgraded it in my car. But both my cars are still stock motors, eh?
Are you scaring people now, man?
Still stock motors. I haven't bought none of them. Like, to be honest, time mostly. You know, for clients, I still have to make my living. My clients come first, and then my stuff. So whatever I had, whatever time we have on the weekend and that, we sit with the cars and see how we can go a bit faster. And that's where it brought us now. Look, it brought us to like the fastest 135 in SA, but we're not going to stop there. I mean, the cars are much more capable of going deeper 10s, you know? I mean, overseas guys, N54s, they 9s, 8s. So like I said, they 10 years ahead of us. So obviously it's a dying platform. But for me, I'll keep it going. I'll keep it going for as long as I can. Because I noticed with B58s and S55, I mean, you slap hybrids on an S55, stock motor, stock clutches, you in the 10s.
Easily.
Stock fueling even. So yeah, I'll still keep the N54 platform running. It did die off, I won't lie. There's like a handful that are fast. But I don't know how fast, because no one's ran in front of me with the N54. A lot of people tried, but I don't think anyone
Failed completely.
succeeded. Yeah.
So what are one of like the key components to obviously getting it to this sort of level internally? Like obviously like with you obviously need to get like a proper custom map. Fueling as well obviously also counts as a factor to make it run as efficient as possible as well, right?
That's a very ambiguous question. There's a lot of answers to that, but for us, so far the ingredients just been JB4 with a good back-end flash. Look, a lot of people are against JB, but as you can see, the results talk. If you get JB right, for me it's still the best platform.
It works.
Look, MHD, everything's out, but you can stack these cars. So you stack it on top of the JB. And if you read up, like overseas and that, the guys are running JB. You obviously go and read up on people who did it already. I mean, you're not starting blank page. You go and see who did it. You find the ingredients. You take the ingredients, the recipe, and you put it in your car, obviously. But yeah, and also to remember, we're at high altitude.
Right.
We're not spoiled with coastal air. So it's harder for us to make power up here. It's harder for us to get times here. But yeah, that's where we're at now, like internally.
And then the supporting mods, of course.
Supporting mods is a long grocery list. Like my cars basically have all the supporting mods to turn it up wire. But obviously limiting factor is motor now. And I need to get down. Look, bruh, I can go and bring my set of forged pistons, my ARTs, my iRev kit. I've got everything. Problem is time.
Makes sense. So I think we've dwelled quite a bit on the N54 platform, and I would also like to know your future endeavors. And obviously, specifically with BM, would you like to try out obviously like the different engines such as the N55s, S55s,
Look,
P58s?
I do try them all out. Don't get me wrong. All my clients got very fast cars. P58s, S55s. But obviously, a lot of people, you remember, you need to have a passion for this and you need the financial backing.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of people got the financial backing, but obviously are limited because of priorities.
Right.
There is a certain few clients of mine that want to go, balls to the walls.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're waiting on them.
Mm-hmm.
S55, we've got something coming.
Mm-hmm.
Kellen set the bar quite high this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 10-1 at altitude. But yeah, you have to try. Like, you have to reach, what they say, aim for the sky.
Shoot for the stars.
Shoot for the stars.
Land on the clouds.
If you
If you fall, you land on the
if you fall, you're still somewhere up there.
Yeah.
So obviously that's always the goal. And that's where we should get with basically all the platforms. B58, we already have something coming. Pierre's got his new 340X drive, B58. We're slapping a big turbo on that next week. That's a guaranteed 9
Easily.
second car.
Easily.
Like, jokes aside, talk is cheap, we'll do it.
Bold claim. Bold
Pierre goes
claim.
under
Yeah.
BYM fabrication. But like, we basically like one company.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my good friends, so yeah. And he fabricates his own kits. Like, physically, there's no one doing it, he does it himself.
In-house himself, right? Nice. Yeah.
So what do you think? What's your wish for the car scene? What are the things that you'd like to see happen in terms of events, in terms of racing, in terms of
Look, at this point in time, the car scene's quite good. Just the rivalries are a bit too bad.
Yeah.
What I hope is that, you see, a lot of people are bitter when somebody wins, right? I think in the car scene, where we're lacking is that bitterness. You rather wish well for that guy, take tips from him, because I believe life is about learning, and instead of envying him, learn from him, right? They say winning should make you confident, losing should build your character in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be envious and jealous towards someone. There's a lot of jealousy in this game. Karabs, you know this.
yeah.
You one of them. You guilty. I'm glad you changed, but you very guilty of that. Yes, this guy, bro. This guy.
Yo, the attack.
Yeah, I'll attack him. This boy here, he ran. This boy here. Hey, with his FBO mod, he thought he had the fastest car.
You know how much he bullied me this car?
I've never lost a race to him, and I will never lose a race to him.
So no rematch.
If he wants a rematch, he can have a rematch. What is S55? What is S55?
No, man.
But yeah, that's the problem we're facing currently in the racing scene.
Mm-hmm.
Is that no one's like happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everyone's against you. Look, rivalry is good, competition is good.
Mm-hmm.
But behind scenes, be good towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, end of the day, this is still a business.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it get involved with your social life.
Mm-hmm.
Make it affect your relationship with other people. I mean, I have watched relationships get ruined over racing.
Imagine.
Your crew.
Over racing. Look, to me, before it used to be about pride.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, it's no more about pride.
Mm.
Like, see here, what we're doing now, for me, it's about this.
Mm-hmm.
Socializing, taking tips here, there.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's what it's about now. It's no more about being the fastest, being the best. Look, we all strive to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like I say, as you get older, you see life a bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll always have this handful that won't see it that way. And that's still what keeps like your pride going.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad thing, but you become prideful in certain ways when guys start talking.
Mm-hmm.
It is a downfall. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. So what would your future aspirations for this shop be? Because I always believe that there's always room for improvement in everything that, each of us individually obviously do. So
Look, the shop is already where it's supposed to be.
mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think I have any complaints.
Mm-hmm.
You want to expand or anything like that?
I haven't. Look, expanding is every day.
Mm-hmm.
You expand every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you expand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you said, shoot for the stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still shooting for the stars. Some people will say I'm already like up there, but it's not, bro. There's
There's levels.
much bigger fish than me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is level, there is bigger fish, but like I'm reaching there slowly but surely. Slow progress better than no progress.
Yeah, true,
Right?
true.
I'm still upcoming. And I only recently got a record, 1 record, 2 records. But still upcoming.
As a chief.
Come have a seat here. Do you know Ricardo from MF Auto Body, Easy Moto?
He needs to come in the scene.
This is the owner of Easy Moto. Easy Moto
He needs to
Boutique.
come in the scene.
The owner of his motor looks crusty right
Yeah, those are fucking crusty as shit here, bro.
We only bug, bruh.
He shows off. Put up for him a show.
So with
Close it up if you want.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. Without a doubt, I know you definitely inspired quite a few individuals that obviously watch this platform, as it's a growing platform. And I don't know if you want to leave them with any words of inspiration, motivation, just to keep them to persevere with whatever they're going with. Because I believe each of us.
I can hit you with a bit of a profound statement. Your temporary situation is never your final destination. The
There we
best is yet to come.
There we go. That is Ozayr on this episode of Chases a Race. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets, just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she sliding, tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole, I'm beating it down. I'm back in that bag again. Whoa, whoa. I'm saying that. I'm back in that bag again. Yeah. I'm saying